Good morning to all. Welcome to chemistry class. So in our last class, we have discussed about how to calculate the number of electrons, protons and neutrons. And I have given few examples for you to practice. So all these are which I have given in our last class. So I have solved for you. You can check your answers. So all these are the solution for the practice problems which I have given in our last class. So we are going to move into our next part. So this is our aluminium atom. So you can observe in the middle we have nucleus, in which we have neutrons as well as protons, and the electrons which are revolving around the nucleus here. So I hope you understood how the electrons will be revolving around the nucleus. The electrons are revolving in a circular path around the nucleus. So this is our nucleus. So let us consider the red one are neutrons and the blue one are protons. So electrons are negatively charged. So nucleus is positively charged because of proton. Proton is positively charged, and the electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a fixed circular path. The fixed circular path, it is revolving around the nucleus. So these fixed circular path are called as orbits. So the fixed electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a fixed circular path, and those fixed circular path are called as orbits. So let us see the definition also. So these are the fixed circular paths around the nucleus where electrons will be present in it, and electrons will be revolving around the nucleus in that fixed circular paths, and those fixed circular paths are called as the shells or energy levels. They are called as the shells or energy levels, and very important thing, it is being denoted by an small n. It is being denoted by small n. So we also call them as orbits also. So shells, energy levels, we also call them by one more name, that is main energy level. Main energy level. Main energy level. I hope it is clear. So electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So we shall study in detail about these orbitals or main energy levels or shells. Next. So this is about the shell which we have already we have defined what is the shell and all. So here we are going to check now. So what is this shell as well as energy level, or one more thing is subshell and orbitals. Before that, let me draw one more level for it, one more orbit. One more orbit we have, in which we have electrons also here in that. So electrons are also present here. So we have electrons present over here in this also. So what are these shells? Already we have defined them. So these are the fixed circular paths around the nucleus in which the electrons will be revolving around. In a fixed circular path, electrons will be revolving around it. So if you check, so these shells, so the shell which is very next to the nucleus, this is the nucleus. So what a nucleus? So the shell which is next to the nucleus is called as a K shell. It is called as a K shell. So remember, this is what our K shell is. And we have one more, that is we have K shell over here. K shell. And the next one is called as L shell. It is L, M, and the next one is N. So this is the shell, K shell, L shell, M and N. And we also know that, so the shells are being indicated by a small n. So it is also can be denoted as n is equals to 1. The K shell can also be denoted as n is equals to 1. L shell is being denoted as n is equals to 2. That is the second shell. Likewise, M is being denoted as n is equals to 3, and N is being denoted as n is equals to 4. So here capital N and here it is a small n. So the shells are indicated by using KLMN, or n is equals to 1, n is equals to 2, n is equals to 3, n is equals to 4. These are also called as the shells as well as main energy levels. Clear? So as the number is less, it is very near. It indicates this the shell or the shell numbers or whatever the energy levels are there. It also indicates the distance of that one with the nucleus. If n is equals to 3, indicates that it is little far from n is equals to 2. That is from the second level. So third level is far from second level. So likewise, energy also, if n is equals to 1, then energy is less for this one. As it goes, as the number of n value increases, energy of the shell is also increasing. So that is nothing but, so we can write, so as n increases, as n value increases, energy of the shell increases. Energy of the shell increases. So this is important. So mark it down properly. As n value increases. As n in the sense, what is n? N is nothing but main energy level or shell. As the shell value increases, energy of the shell is also going to increase. So we have seen that. So which are shells? So shells, we know shells are K, L, M, N are shells, or we can call them as orbits also, main energy levels also. So these shells are divided into subshells again. These are being divided into subshells. You can observe we have a shell over here. So we have subshell. So this is the subshell of 1. So this is the subshell of second level. This is the subshell of third level. Like that we have subshells for fourth level also. But the thing is, each one, the number of subshell is different for each level there. So that one we are going to calculate now. So subshell is being indicated by a letter L. So what is subshell? So subshells are nothing but they are present within the main energy level, where the electrons are meant to be present in the subshells. Clear? So what are those subshells? How we are going to calculate them? We shall see. So when you say that subshell, so the subshell is being denoted by, it is being denoted by the letters S, P, D and F. So these are derived from spectrometric spectrometric terms. These are from spectrometric terms. Spectrometric terms. So what is this? S stands for? S is standing for sharp. Sharp. P stands for principal. D stands for diffuse. And F stands for fundamental. So all these are spectrometric terms. So based upon the spectrometric terms, these names have been given to subshells there. So I hope it is clear. So it has been mentioned according to the spectrometric terms there. So now we are going to discuss how we will be calculating or how we'll come to know that. So K shell consists of how many subshells? L consists of how many subshells? M consists of how many subshells? N consists of how many subshells? So we are going to check now. So as I said, so as the number of, as the main shell is going to change, subshell is also changing. Subshell number is also varying. So how to calculate now? What a K shell consists of how many subshells? How to calculate that one? We shall see now. So if at all, if you check this one, so L value if you check, so how we'll come to know that it is what a SPDF, how to mention that one we shall see. So if L value is, so if L value is equals to 0, then it is S subshell. If L value is equals to 1, then it is P subshell. If L value is equals to 2, then it is D subshell. If L value is equals to 3, then it is F subshell. Clear? So this is how, if L value, how the L value is changing, by that the subshell is being named. Then how to find out this L value? So how to find out this L value? So we shall see that one. Next. So here we are discussing about our subshells. So how to find out our subshells? So we have a N value that is equals to 1, N value is 2, N value if it is 3, and N value if it is 4. And we already know that if N value is 1, then it is nothing but it is K main shell, KL, M, and it is N. So if N value is 1, then how to find out L value? So remember, so L values will be found by using L is equals to 0 to, from 0 to N minus 1. Clear it is? So L value we can found out by using, so L value will be found by using the method like 0 to N minus 1. 0 to N minus 1. Clear it is? Now, so the same thing we are going to apply here also. So if N is equals to 1, then L will be from 0 to 1 minus 1. That is nothing but that is equals to 0 only. Clear it is? So we have already studied. So if L value is, just a minute, if L value is 0, then which subshell it is? It is S subshell. So we have seen, so if L value is 0, that means that it is S subshell. We shall mention that one later. So if N is equals to 2, that is a second orbit or second shell, then L value will be from 0 to 2 minus 1. N value how much? N value is 2. So that's why it is 2 minus 1. We have seen that L value will be calculated by using this method. That is L is equals to 0 to N minus 1. We are going to substitute N value. So here N value is 2. So that's why it is 2 minus 1. So L value is equals to 0 and 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So 0 and 1. Here L value is from 0 to 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 0 to 2. 0 to 2 means which all values will get? 0, 1 and 2. Clear? Now L value is equals to 0 to 4 minus 1. N value is 4. N value is so 4 minus 1. It is 0 to, it is 3, what a 4 minus 1 is 3 we have. So that is equals to, we can write 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is, 4 minus 1 is 3. So 0 to 3, if at all, if you have to write 0, 1 and 2, 3. Clear it is? Now, So now we'll mention the subshells there. So subshells, which all subshells? If S is only L is equals to 0, then it is S subshell. If L is 0 and 1, it is S and P subshell. If N is 3, N is equals to 3, then it is S, P and D. If N is equals to 4, it is S, P, D and F. Clear it is. So we shall combine all these things. So it is K, L, M, N. These are our shells. These are our shells. So we'll mention here subshells. We need to write N value also over here. Subshells, nothing but L we are going to mention. So we shall see that one. If K shell it is there, that is nothing but N value will be 1. And which subshell we have? If N is 1 or K shell, we have only S subshell. We have only S subshell. L. So in the L, N value is 2. So when N value is 2, L value will be 0 and 1. 0 and 1 indicates S and P subshell. So if N value is 3, then L will be 0, 1 and 2. That is S, P and D. So that is M. That is nothing but N3. We have S, P and D. N is 4. So that is if N value is 4, L will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So it is S, P, D and F. So we have this tabular form you should remember. You should remember that tabular column. So if shells we have, then the shells will be in this format. Remember and practice this one. It is very, very important. Each and every part, whatever we have discussed now, it is very, very important. Clear it is. So shells, N value, subshells. So L value, S subshell means it is 0. P means L value is 1. D means L value is 2. F means L value is 3. So this by this we have we have learned how to calculate or how to get subshells. So we have N, that is the first main shell, consists of only one subshell. Second main shell consists of 2 subshells. Third main shell consists of 3 subshells. Fourth main shell consists of 4 subshells. Clear? Now, so now this these subshells are being, once again it is been having an word term called orbital. So orbital is nothing but it is the space in the, or it is a 3-dimensional region in the subshell where electron will be present, or probability of finding the electron in that region is maximum. So orbital is the region in the subshell, so where the probability of finding the electron is maximum. So we know that all these shells, everything will be around the nucleus only. So it is an 3-dimensional region around the nucleus where the probability of finding the electron is maximum. So just now I had written, so an atom is there means. So an atom is there means, so we have written a nucleus over there. We have written an nucleus. Around this nucleus we have written orbits. Orbits like what a fixed circular path, a solid line I had written. But in actual what happens is this is not a solid line. So in 2-dimensional way we can consider that one as a solid line. But it is in actual, it is a 3-dimensional region or 3-dimensional space. So like this you can. So the solid line I have written, but it is not like that. It is an what a space around the nucleus. So you can observe here, it is just expanded. It is just expanded. But the thing is, you can even identify, or even you can make out. So this is our nucleus. So if this is our nucleus is positively charged because of proton. So you can make out the difference from the nucleus and the first orbit. And this is the second shell, third, fourth, like that. So it is that nothing but, so always there is and some space where electron between the shells. So some space is there where electron won't be present. That we are going to study in our higher classes, what we are going to call them and all. So now you just understand, orbital is the three-dimensional space around the nucleus where electron will be present. In actual or in specific, if you have to tell, then orbital is nothing but it is the space in the what a subshell where electrons will be present. Clear? So next we'll check that how these subshells and orbitals are involved, or how it is been connected. So this is the subshells I have written. So we shall see that. So if at all, if subshell S is there, so it consists of only one orbital. You can observe this is the orbital, only one orbital it consists of. Likewise, P consists of 3 orbitals, D consists of 5 orbitals, F consists of 7 orbitals. So S consists of 1 orbital, P consists of 3 orbitals, D consists of 5 orbitals, and F consists of 7 orbitals. So what are these orbitals? These are the space or the region within the subshells where electrons are where electrons are present. Clear? So in S subshell we have only one orbital. What are these? So one is heading towards upward and one is heading towards downward. So these are nothing but electrons. So orbitals consist of electrons. So in one orbital, 2 electrons are present. You can observe in each block we have 2 electrons there. One is towards the upward direction, one is towards the downward direction. So when you say that, so it is just like an electron is just like an earth in the solar system. So if at all, if this is the sun, if you have if it is earth is, if you consider, earth will be rotating around the sun also. I mean, it will be revolving around the sun also, and it is rotating on its own axis also. So you have studied the solar system. You just once imagine earth is revolving around the sun as well as it is rotating on its own axis also. Likewise, electrons will be revolving around the nucleus and it will be spinning around its axis also, spinning in its axis also. So it can spin in 2 different ways. One in clockwise direction, one in clockwise direction, that is in this direction, clockwise direction. One in anti-clockwise direction, that is ulta, reverse. So upward direction, whatever is there. So this shows the spin in clockwise direction. Spin in clockwise direction. And this electron will shows the spin in anti-clockwise direction. Clear it is? So shells we have studied. After that we have studied about the subshells, and after that we have continued with our concept to orbital. So yes, a subshell consists of only one orbital. Why it is only one? We are going to study that one in our higher studies. Now for bridge course, you just remember, yes, a subshell consists of only one orbital, and we know that one orbital can accommodate 2 electrons. That means that yes, consists of 2 electrons only. Yes, a subshell can accommodate maximum of only 2 electrons because it has only one orbital. Clear it is? So we can conclude. So yes, can have only 2 electrons. Only 2 electrons. Clear? Now we'll move on to P subshell. So P subshell consists of 3 orbitals. So first first orbital, second orbital, and this is the third orbital. Each orbital consists of two electrons. One is spinning in the clockwise, another one spinning in the anti-clockwise. Just remember, electrons are revolving around the nucleus as well as it is spinning in its own axis in two different direction, one in clockwise, another one in anti-clockwise. So if it is clockwise upward direction, anti-clockwise downward direction. Total, how many electrons we have? So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means that P can have 6 electrons. P can accommodate 6 electrons in it. P can accommodate 6 electrons. Likewise, D consists of 5 orbitals, each one with 2 electrons. That means that D can accommodate 10 electrons. D can have the maximum as 10 electrons. It is not compulsory that always D should contain 10 only. Clear it is? It is not like that. Maximum it can accommodate 10 electrons. And F, if you consider 7 orbitals, that means that it can accommodate 14 electrons in it. It can accommodate at the maximum of 14 electrons. So remember, yes, with only one orbital, 2 electrons. P with 3 orbitals, 6 electrons. D with 5 orbital, 10 electrons. F with 7 orbitals, 14 electrons. The maximum capacity of S is 2 electron and the maximum capacity of P is 6, D is 10 and F is 7. Clear it is? Followed. So I have drawn here nucleus, orbits or main energy levels. In the main energy levels, we have subshells. Our main shells consist of subshells in it. In the subshells, we have orbitals. Subshells where electrons are present in the orbitals. Clear it is? Followed. Next. So we have next we are going to study that. So that is we have just now we have seen. So it is we consist of S, P, D and F subshell. So and in these subshells we have orbitals. So we have orbitals. Before that we have KLMN as shells. KLMN as shells. So the subshells consist of, the shells consist of subshells. Subshells consist of orbitals. In the orbitals, electrons are present. Clear? So each element will be consisting of all these things. And how the electron distribution is being taking place in each element. So based upon that, its properties are dependent. Clear? So if at all, if you check how electron is distributed, if you check the distribution of electrons in the shells, subshells and orbitals, then you can study the properties of elements. So all these things, why are we studying? We are studying all these things to know the properties of elements. So if at all, if you want to know the properties of elements, then you need to check the which is the main shell present, which is the subshell present, which is the orbitals, in which orbitals electrons are distributed. So the main important thing is distribution of electrons. So distribution of electrons, if you study or if you know distribution of electrons, then you can easily go into the properties of, or you can easily study the properties of elements. So this distribution of electrons, nothing but, so in a chemical term we can call that one as, so this distribution of electrons we are calling that one as electronic configuration. distribution of electrons in the shell, subshell and in the orbitals, we call that one as electronic configuration. So if you know the electronic configuration of elements, then it is easy for us to study the properties of elements, because the properties of elements are dependent on the distribution of electrons or on the electronic configuration. So how to write this electronic configuration? We have a symbol for that. So that symbol is N, L and it is X, NLX. So this is important. So this indicates the electronic configuration. By this we are going to we can write, or we can determine the electronic configuration or represent the electronic configuration. What is this N? What does this N indicates? N indicates the subshell there. N indicates, N indicates not the subshell, it is the main shell. N indicates the main shell or main energy level. L indicates about the subshell. And X indicates about the number of electrons. Number of electrons. Clear? Suppose if we write 4s1, that indicates that 4 is the main shell. In the fourth main shell, so S is the subshell and only one electron is present. Clear? In the fourth main shell, we have subshell as S. In that S subshell, it consists of only one electron. Clear it is? So 4 indicates main shell number. So S indicates the subshell and the power to that is indicating the number of electrons. We have one more example. So we'll write it as 3p4. So 3 indicates the main shell, P is the subshell and 4 electrons are present. 4 electrons are present in this subshell. Clear it is? So then how to write this electronic configuration? How to fill the electrons? How to fill the electrons in the orbitals? How to write them in the form of subshell, or how to write them in the form of NLX form? So that we are going to study in our next class. Stay tuned, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.